listening to Occupied Media. I'm your host, Paco. I want to thank you if you're tuning in. If you happen to catch the clip before the break, very important ad showing that Romney and Obama are the same. Ron Paul is the only choice. And that's what we got to do. We got to get that message out there because a lot of Obama supporters think that somehow there's a difference. And there's not. Not at all. A lot more similarities than differences, if any. Okay, so we got this one clip I want to play. If you guys haven't heard of him, you should have. His name is Max Keiser from Russia Today. Max Keiser he does the Keiser Report. I think every Ron Paul supporter should be listening to him. He has great information about the bankers and what's going on there and taking a big part in Occupy Wall Street, but not falling for the stupid things, anti-capitalism, tax the rich. He's not on all of that. He's speaking the truth. And so he did a little interview with Luke Wadowski. We're going to go ahead and play that for you. I think it was pretty good. Speaking about Occupy Wall Street and the movement. And let's go ahead and play that.
Luke Wadowski here with Max Keiser. Max, I always wanted to know, what do you think about Occupy Wall Street here in New York City?
I think the front line for this war is not in New York City. The front line is in Athens. And there should be 10,000 of these people should go to Athens and join the front line of this global insurrection against banker occupation. It's called Occupy Wall Street, but Wall Street in New York is not the front line. It's Athens really is where the front line is. And those people are gearing up for a major revolt. They are arming themselves and they're getting ready for the major war that's going on, and they need support.
They definitely do. A lot of crazy things are happening in Athens right now. But what do you think of the people out here today? I don't know if you got a chance to talk to them. Do you think they know what's going on? Do you think they're going in the right direction?
Well, it's unfocused, and also in America is the number one beneficiary of the Wall Street activities. Because of Wall Street's activities, America has artificially cheap food, artificially cheap energy. So these people are the benefit of Wall Street's crimes more than anyone else in the world. So they have to understand that if they're serious about taking down this financial terrorists, as we call them, they need to focus on where the terrorism is most being expressed in its most hideous manner, in a hideous way, which would be Athens, Dublin, Spain now.
If I could ask you, what do you think is the greatest crime economically committed in recent history right now? If you can name one event, one action, what is it?
It's the utter abandonment of capitalism. The capitalism has been completely abandoned in favor of state-sanctioned, Politburo-style, command and control, Soviet-era, Stalin-esque financial programs, like with the Fed and the Open Market Committee, keeping interest rates artificially low, stealing money from savers, stealing money from the people who built this economy, and putting it into the pockets of the speculators. That's a crime. That's a criminal. That's financial repression. That's a crime.
If you could put out a call to all the We Are Changers out there, who would you want to see confronted, and what questions would you like to see asked to anybody right now?
Barack Obama. Why did you keep Summers, Geithner, and Bernanke in office? Wwhy'd you keep
Volcker,
them?
too.
Well, Volcker was brought in, but he was never used, really. I mean, he was brought in. When he brought in Volcker originally, I thought that was a very positive sign, but he brought him in to shut him down, to shut him up. So that's the question. Why did you keep the three architects of this disaster in place? Why did you abandon the people that voted for you? Why did you let this happen?
That's a good question. I don't know if you could get through the Secret Service. He's a very tough
apparently,
person
if you've
to get.
got a hooker with you, it's no problem.
There you go.
Bring a Colombian hooker, you get right in.
That's one way of doing it. And my last question is, can you tell us about Pirate My Films?
Yeah, Pirate My Film, it's a crowdfunding platform meant to attack another pernicious monopoly out there, the copyright monopoly. And the pirate parties are all over the world, and I really believe that they are the political edge of this Occupy movement in a lot of ways, because they're now infiltrating parliaments all over the world, Germany and Sweden and in Europe. There's one in the UK. And this is, I think, the most exciting political development we've seen in the last 10 years. And Pirate My Film kind of tags along with that idea of the copyright laws need to be repealed and freedom of speech needs to be protected. So this is an effort to kind of bring in some ideas to support that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Max, for everything you're doing. Keep up the great work. And
Luke,
it's
my
an
pleasure.
honor to meet you.
Luke, my pleasure. I watch all your stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so
Fantastic.
much. I really appreciate it. It means a lot.
There you go, and that's Max Kaiser with Luke Radowski from We Are Change. Great interview. Max Kaiser is always speaking the truth, and he's right about the movement. We got to get serious about it. You know, we are the number one beneficiaries of their crimes. You know, why? How do people think we get, you know, food for $1 some places, McDonald's and stuff? I mean, everywhere. I mean, we are the beneficiaries, but if we're going to change it, we have to understand what the problem is. We have to understand why these things are occurring and what it is that we really want to change. We see some people, you know, calling just for higher taxes and to take care of, take care of the poor and the middle class. But how are they going to take care of the poor and the middle class? How is that? No one's supposed to take care of anyone. Well, all we need to be demanding is the Constitution. Because when you get back to the Constitution and contracts, you know, property rights, that'll fix everything. These people will basically be put in jail. I want to get Max Kaiser on the show. I haven't hit him up yet. I've been waiting for a while, but I'm going to try to get in contact with him. I would love to talk to him because I think Max Kaiser, I would like to see him more involved with the Ron Paul revolution or at least speaking about it more. I think that would be great. He does speak about a lot of banker crimes on Kaiser Report. And Ron Paul supporters, we're all for that. We're all for exposing Wall Street. You know, I think a lot of us, if Ron Paul wasn't doing his thing, probably a lot of us would be at Occupy Wall Street, to be honest with you. I know I would. But I feel like I had to tell one of the guys I was talking to from Occupy, I was like, man, I got to go where the answer is. I mean, that's just about simple as I can put it. You know, talking about Occupy Wall Street versus Ron Paul, you know, which movement. Some people, you know, gravitate to one or the other, or some people gravitate to neither. But what I say is when I talk to people from Occupy, because I went to a couple of meetings, it's like everyone at Occupy, you know, got good intentions. And I ain't talking about those that are trying to infiltrate it. There's probably some areas, some groups that are infiltrated, but those that ain't. You know, it just seems like everybody's angry, but people don't know what they're mad about and what they're angry about. And that's why I tell them that, yo, I'm on the Ron Paul bandwagon because Ron Paul got the answer already. You know, it's like, and on top of that, he's on the inside. That's why I'm not down with him running as a third party. I don't like that idea. See, if we didn't have somebody on the inside fighting for us, I'm all for it. We got to do what it takes. You know, it's going to be harder, but let's do it. But we got somebody on the inside. This is mind-boggling to me. This is proof. You know, just the fact that Occupy Wall Street isn't out there screaming Ron Paul is proof enough right there to me that not enough people are aware. Because we already have somebody on the inside. We have a presidential race coming up. It isn't like he isn't speaking about everyone's issues. I mean, pretty much everyone. I mean, if you're out protesting, you're talking about injustice going on or anything like that, there's a ton of them. There's a ton of things that are going on that Ron Paul is talking about that the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. So why not support him? Why not back him? So to me, it's like I'm going to go where the answer is. You know, and plus it's harder for them to change our words up. It's harder for them to play us, the media, because everything we're for is for what Ron Paul is saying. So that means they got to tamper with his words, and they do their best, but it's a lot harder. With Occupy Wall Street, they can just look, you know, film a couple of guys and try to make it seem like, oh, these two crazy dudes that are saying nothing or don't know anything, saying the wrong answers, they represent the whole movement. Or these group right here that's playing the bongos or just drunk or having sex or whatever, they represent the whole movement. They try to put everybody in groups and try to tear up the movement, but they can't do that with Ron Paul. It's a lot harder for them to do that because Ron Paul sticks to his guns. He already has 30 years under his belt, and that's what we're screaming for. So Ron Paul's name alone just makes it easier, and it makes it harder for the 1%. And that's what Occupy Wall Street has to understand. You know what I'm saying? It's that we got to get behind Ron Paul, man. Ron Paul, Occupy Wall Street. Call it that. Occupy Ron Paul. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I think more importantly, and I want to talk to Max Kaiser about that, is Occupy the media. We can't all go to Athens. He said we should all go to Athens. We can't. Some of us can't even go anyways. They're taking our passport away if you owe money to the IRS. You ain't going nowhere. So we got to occupy the media because we could change the minds of the masses. Things will start changing, you know. It ain't going to change overnight, but it'll be a lot quicker than us just blogging about it and